If you've ever been fat, depressed, or broke, I'm going to show you how jiu-jitsu solved all three of those for me. Now, these didn't happen overnight, and by no means am I a professional high-level athlete or an influencer in the jiu-jitsu space, but I've fixed all three of those areas of my life using jiu-jitsu, and here's exactly how I did it. So number one, being fat, I mean, obviously, this one's pretty simple to explain, but let me bring you back to my origin story because it might help you with yours. I graduated high school in 2010. I was a fat, chubby, unathletic kid and had a lot of trouble with confidence, the whole deal. In 2015, I became a police officer for the NYPD and I joined the academy. And a funny story about how I found jiu-jitsu is I was in the locker room after changing with one of our PT sessions. And a buddy of mine who kept telling me that I should train jiu-jitsu, that I should go to his gym and try it out, kept bothering me about it. So, over a few days, I started looking up on the website the schedules and what it's like. And one funny story about that is after the locker room one day, as we were changing and getting, back in our uniforms, I go to him and I was like, hey, listen, I'm thinking about going to a gym that's local to me. I just don't know. What's the difference between the GI and no GI? I was talking about the gi or no gi. I didn't even know it was called a gi. I didn't even know what a gi was. But fast forward to the first few weeks of training, and it's something that really helped me become physically fit, active, lose that belly fat, become more confident. And by no means was I fat in the NYPD Academy, because you can't really be. But when I was in high school, something happened to me when I started working out and I started losing a little bit of weight. I was running, I was doing a little bit of lifting, and that stuff is great, and being healthy and losing weight that way is amazing. But I was missing one key thing when I did that, and that was the confidence of just being able to defend myself. And training jiu-jitsu is something that helped me stay not fat as a police officer, working nights, eating really shitty diets, or just losing focus on my health because I couldn't. I didn't have a choice. I had to be able to go train and not get my ass beat and not be winded and try to get better. So my weight from high school, as it was already off because I went through that academy and I was training for it and I had my dream job now, it would have been very easy for me. I had every excuse in the world to gain all that weight back once I started working as a cop. And quick side note, I can count on two hands at least 6 or 7 times where I didn't have to use my gun, or I saved somebody else from like a really bad situation, or just de-escalated a situation because of jiu-jitsu. So I'm very thankful for that. So after just about 4 years of working in the NYPD in one of the worst precincts in the entire city in East New York, Brooklyn, I got a phone call and landed another police officer job in an adjacent county that eventually was going to pay more money and was going to give me a better quality of life. So I did make that jump. I quit the NYPD. I joined that new department, but there was one big issue. My salary got cut by basically 75% overnight. I went from making good money to, just about to be married and having my house to back to basically minimum wage. As a new police officer in this new department. And while my quality of life was better, I really started to get sad and depressed because I missed my old friends from the NYPD. I had like no camaraderie anymore. I wasn't making as much money, and I just had a house with my wife. We were having our first child, and then eventually second child, and then eventually third child, all within like a 4-year span. So with the issues of adjusting to a new job, losing my old friends at my old job, making 75% less money, and the stress of a house and all these children and all these new responsibilities coming on board, took a massive dive just in my mental health. Started drinking to escape the pain, started doing anything in the world possible to not feel the bad feelings that I was having at the time. Then something interesting happened, and it wasn't training, but it was business, side hustles, side ventures. I started doing side hustles to try and make ends meet, to make the mortgage and pay for the kids and all this stuff, but I forgot about jiu-jitsu. I was not training because if I wasn't working, I was taking care of the kids with my wife. If I wasn't taking care of the kids, or if I wasn't working, then I was doing my side business. So while I was kind of fixing my money situation a little bit and just being a responsible adult male, was not training at all. And that continued to feed just depression. I wasn't sweating every day. I wasn't able to go and train with the people that I used to train with and have fun. I was losing all that confidence that I built over years of training. And it really started to affect me. Now, fast forward 2 years of just burning the candle at both ends. I made a ton of bad decisions with that side business that I started in the first place. Ended up almost going bankrupt, had to foreclose on a home, fired all my employees, and again was back to square one with making no money, but except now I was making no money. I was 30 pounds heavier and I was still depressed. And then something incredible happened. Through a group chat, I got a notification for an interesting angle on a tournament series. It was a jiu-jitsu super fight for cops. It was called Heroes on the Mat. It was the first show that was ever going to be done. And something came over me. I responded in the group chat. I said, yes, I'm in 100%. And things were looking up from there. I quit alcohol, cold turkey. I started dialing in my diet. I started training 3 to 4 times a week hard. I started losing weight, all because jiu-jitsu brought me back to center and was able to give me another goal to focus on. And funny enough, after that happened, I started working here and there with the promoter of that series, doing a little bit of video editing. I ended up commentating on a couple of the shows afterwards. While that did make me a little bit of extra side cash, it really fueled my dream to do something in the jiu-jitsu space as a side hustle to again supplement my income, because now I was starting to get fit again. I wasn't as depressed as I was before because again, I was regularly training now. Jiu-jitsu brought me back to that center. But I still had the last problem. And that was broke. I was broke AF. I was broke as a joke. I told you before that I foreclosed on a house. I had to sell a whole bunch of things. I was in massive debt. So I decided to go on this journey of testing things out in the jiu-jitsu and combat sports industry. And lo and behold, the shirt that I'm wearing right now, I ended up seeing a product and bringing a product to the market that did already exist, but we just made it 5 to 10% better. And that product was inflatable jiu-jitsu mats. You could roll it up into a duffel bag, bring it everywhere, inflate it within 4 minutes, train anywhere, anytime, at home, at the park, at the beach, wherever you wanted. And it quickly went viral on Instagram, basically overnight. We crowdfunded $18,000. I had one investor who was crazy enough to cut me a check for $8,000 to help fund the first level of production for these mats, and thankful to him because without him this would have never existed. So shout out if you're watching. And slowly but surely we started producing these in mass. We sent out the first 100. Everybody loved it. We sent out the next 100. Demand shot up. Tens of millions of views on social media, and all because I started with a yes to a tournament that brought me out of that depression, that helped me quit drinking, that gave me a goal to shoot towards. Because of that momentum, because of my faith, and because I didn't stop, I'm now currently, as you watch this, fixing my brokenness situation. Now, if you're watching, jiu-jitsu might just be the place where you escape, the place where you go and train a couple of times a week or go to an open mat just to get away from all the bullshit of life. But I'm here to tell you, as a testament, as proof, that it could be so much more if you think of it in the right frame. Things you learn from training can help you with your mind, it can help you with your body, it can help you with the external environment that's out there. You just need to think outside the box, have some faith, say yes more often, and have a little bit of discernment to continue going down the path of whatever place jiu-jitsu brings you. And if you want to continue this journey with me, then subscribe.